Hi, it's Inspector Mark. I'm in a new home, and what I want to show you today is this full flow sewer backflow valve. These are devices designed to protect the home in the event that the municipal sewer system can't handle all the flow, or it's plugged or whatever, and the system starts to back up and sewage actually wants to come back into your house. So these valves are one-way flow valves, and hopefully you never need them, but if you do, you want to make sure they're working. Unfortunately, the ones that are used in 99.9% of the houses generally only work if they're kept clean, and this is the catch, is that of course most people don't clean them, and in probably 99% of the cases most people don't have any idea where they are in the house, which can be a problem finding them, because sometimes they're in a finished basement, they're under carpet and stuff, and it's very tricky to find out where they are. So we're in a new house, the basement's not finished, so I've got it easy here today, and I'm just going to show you where that valve in this house is located. So we're very well laid out in this house. The valve in this house has been put into the furnace utility area, which is smart on part of the builder. So that way it'll always be an unfinished area and there'll always be access. So just so you know what we're looking at here, this one here, this is actually the sewer backflow valve, and as you can see, it's never been opened. It's got concrete around the perimeter, so I'm going to have to break the cover free from the concrete. And just so you know, while we're working here, you may see this other opening or device. This is actually the sump chamber, which I've already opened up and checked, so that's fine in this house. So what I'll do is just try not to bore you to death. I'm going to set the camera over here and show you a little bit of what's required to break the cover of the valve free. I use a few little simple tools, hammer, obviously, an old screwdriver, and what I do is chip away the concrete around the perimeter edges. Trying to get the entire cover free. And I also like to chip away right at the edges of the cover. I'm doing right now. Once I get the edges exposed, which I'm going to hold a little closer to see here now, is you see here now I've got a bit of a groove in here, and this is the plastic cover, this is the concrete floor. So between the cover and here I can start to exert a little bit of leverage, and I've got, you know, another levering tool here which is a little bit heavier dutier, and you may have to get a woodworking pry bar to do this. But you can see as I'm lifting here, the cover is slowly starting to lift. We've got some of the concrete breaking free on the edges here. Don't be afraid, the covers are fairly tough. They have a little, the new ones have just a plastic friction clip on the end, so you don't have to worry too much about just popping the cover right off. The ones that were done prior to 2000 and probably 10 have an actual bolt here, and so you actually have to put a wrench on here and remove the bolt, and there'll be a bolt here and there'll be a bolt at the opposite end. So I've got it even easier because I don't even have a bolt to remove. All I have to do is literally pry this cover upwards, and eventually when I get enough of the concrete out from around the perimeter here, it should pop free. I'll get my hand in there now, give it a good pull, and oh, this is a real easy one because there is the valve, and since it's a new house, I'm running all the taps and the tubs and stuff like that to ensure that there's no leakage in the drain system of the house before the purchasers move into the home. So I don't know if you can hear the sound of water running, but it is. Now in many homes, once you pull this cover off, it won't be quite this pretty. You're going to find this to be filled with sand or gravel, and you actually literally have to get in here with a small shovel and gently dig down to expose the valve. This plumber's done a very nice job. He's used a deep retainer here. He slipped it in on both sides of the valve, and for that reason we've had no cavitation of the sand or gravel over the valve. We've had no flow in of concrete, because sometimes the concrete floor, when they're pouring it, literally flows in and there's covering of concrete over top the valve. So like I say, this is a very easy one for me today. The top is a screw cap, and you just need a little tool like mine here, or maybe a pair of pliers to get a hold on that and break it free. Again, I'm getting off easy because it's not very tight. And as you can see here, this top screws off. Now, as you remove the top, be careful. There is an O-ring right here. Okay, this one stayed put, so there's a little O-ring right there. I don't know if you can see that. And that's got to be there to keep everything nice and watertight. So, here we go. Here's the valve. Now that's sewage, although because I'm running all the taps, in this particular case, it's 99% just clean water. And you can see in the bottom that yellow flap, okay? That yellow flap is actually the flap that closes if the sewer system backs up. Now, if you look on each side, you can see a small black rectangular float. And that float is what starts the initial closing process. So if the fluid levels on this side, the downstream side of the valve, start to lift and it starts to fill up the system because of a backflow situation, those little floats start the lifting of that yellow flap. And what I'm going to show you here, I have a tool for this, just one moment. Let me go to my myriad of tools and devices I have made. This is just a little wire hook I've made, just so I can show you how the valve actually closes. So, this flap starts the lifting process, of course, with the lifting of these two tiny floats. And the initial lift is very, very weak. So, I'll lift it up here just so you can see what happens. As the valve starts to lift, then the pressure of the returning sewage, which is going to be flowing the opposite way of the water right now, slams this valve shut, okay? And what happens over time is underneath this flap, now you can see it's pretty clean in there, but over time bacteria and sewage scum, sometimes fats people put in the drains, collect underneath and all around this flap. And when they do, then the flap can't start that initial lifting. And there's nothing to stop the sewage from flowing straight up into your house. And the first place it's going to show up is probably in your floor drain, which is right here. And it could come into basement bathrooms. And of course, nothing worse than a sewer back up in your house. So what you should do is once a year, open your valve, get on some gloves, get a brush, probably a long-handled one, and get in there, scrub it clean, underneath, on top, all the sides, make sure it looks just nice and clean, just like this one does, because this one's brand new. And if it's clean like that, it's ready to go, and it'll protect your house.